and breaking.
If you need to hydrate yourself, come on over.
I'm good with, if you need to get up and go, then you
Those
just get up and
bottles.
whatever. I'm a mother of 4, so we have lots of moving around, no moving parts, so it's fine. I was bad about that when I was teaching at Webster. I just told them the same thing, just get up and go.
Yeah.
Nobody remember where the restroom was
I think so.
in the corner here?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Through the woods. Okay, so.
Hello, how was the wedding?
Oh, it was beautiful. I show you pictures later.
I haven't told them our story.
Oh. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was, it
Good.
was great. I'm so glad it went.
Well, I'll tell them the short version. I didn't want to tell them it yet. So I get to the airport Christmas Day, and there was a whole big story even before then, and I'm standing there and I'm like, I see Elena. And I said, where are you going? She says, Fort Lauderdale. And I said, so am I. But she's going to Panama. And she had a 7-hour layover in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh my goodness.
So I said, well, why don't you come with me to Christmas dinner at my family's house?
You're kidding.
So I took a selfie. I said,
nice.
guess who's coming to dinner? Who is this? But, you know, my family, they don't care. So we, my mom picked her up, and we picked her up at the airport, and she had a nice layover, a nice Christmas dinner, and then we got her back in, I hope in time
Yes.
to
Oh, that was
go through
really
customs.
Yes.
I said, I just can't see you. What would you do at the airport for 7 hours? Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I'll be
So,
standing, I won't be in your space.
so, you know, Christmas Day.
It
So
was
that
great.
worked out
So
real nice.
lovely. Wow, that started your
It's a great story.
vacation.
Yes.
Did you get any?
And on the way
anything
back, I
else?
mistakenly
Okay,
set up
thanks.
the day returning to St. Louis on Saturday instead of Friday. And I said, I deal with that when I get there. So I arrived at 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday, the 12th. And I went to the counter and I said,
Okay.
I have a mistake on setting up the return time. Is it possible that I can go to St. Louis today?
Uh-huh.
And she said, let me see. Yeah, there is an airplane leaving at 9:30. I said, thank you.
That's awesome.
Wow,
Perfect.
Because I
nice.
go like, where is my friend?
Where's dinner?
It was lunch.
Shoot, I should have given you their number. Yeah, you could have just hung
Oh,
out.
my goodness.
Whoa.
That was good for you.
Oh, boy. It was very nice.
Yeah.
My family go like, whoa, you got some clout. I say, no, it's because I always say God loves you, but I'm his favorite.
Yeah. And I had a friend at the airport who gave us priority seating, dragged me onto the plane. She couldn't go, but I was able to save her a seat. So we got, you know, in the front of the southwest, the front of the plane. So yeah, we had all supernatural favor that day. It was great.
That's lovely.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's a great story. I didn't know what you were going to tell us.
Yeah. So we had an adventure.
Yes, together, without planning.
Yeah, no plan.
Does anybody else have any unusual adventures since we saw you last?
No.
Top that.
If I did, it wouldn't even,
Shirley, I have an idea every day for you as an unusual adventure.
it is, but it's good. So many adventures, I can't even think of one.
That kind of blend together. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, I like that shape. Oh, my. Yeah, I was in Spokane, Washington. First time, I always had this idea, I've never been to the Northwest. I always wanted to go and see how beautiful it was, but
Yeah.
you know, I had to visit a group of sisters. I was inside all the time.
Eh.
Snowy and slushy, so I did see a few deer.
Wow.
And some deer sisters, but yeah, not much else, so I still have to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite place you'd like to go in the States that you haven't been yet?
Well, I haven't been to many places, so I would love to go all sorts. But I need to go see the Grand Canyon before I go.
Yeah.
And then not necessarily these states. My kids even know. They talk about it that my bucket list item is I want to go see the Northern Lights. So I want to go to
Really?
Alaska or something to go see the Northern
You don't have to
Lights.
go very far.
I know. But, I mean, we just don't travel much, but
We go to Wisconsin every summer and almost
Are you
always
seeing
there's.
along those?
Mhm.
that'd be neat.
When we're there.
Well,
Sometimes they're, and sometimes they're spectacular.
There's just,
In
my
Wisconsin?
husband,
We go way north, almost to Canada.
Oh, okay. Because we go to Wisconsin every summer. We go in June.
You do have to know what you're looking for,
Okay.
because sometimes you just think those are clouds or something, and it's
Oh.
not. It's the northern lights, so.
nature amazes me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody should see the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just wonder why there are so many beautiful things on earth and we don't get to see them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what happened is partly, so many places that are awesome. Yes, we all have our share, whether it's the person next to us. Well, I think Beth is probably gonna be a little bit late because she's coming from a circle process, so she'll probably be here just a couple minutes late. So I think we can get started. I want to start with a prayer, so I'll pass these around. And you know, I get excited thinking about this program. I tell people it's just such a wonderful opportunity to share God's love. And you people are the perfect people to do it. So we're delighted to have Suzanne with us, and I'll tell you a little bit about her, the little that I know, which is wonderful. After we pray. Let's open with the reading. Meg, would you read the scripture when we begin, a little quote at the top, and then we'll read the rest together.
Okay.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Because you are children, God has sent the Spirit of His Son into our hearts, crying, Abba, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but a child. And if a child, then also an heir through God.
Almighty God, may
May
we
we
bring
bring reflection and wisdom to our meeting. Use our expertise and our judgment, Lord, and direct our contributions to one another as we work together to create this faith program.
Let us be listeners more than speakers, and may we always have in mind your will for the well-being and the future of families and our church. Guide us, Lord, in all our doings with your most gracious favor, and further us with your continual help, that in all our works begun, continued, and ended in you,
We may glorify your name through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you for bringing us together, for bringing Elaine back.
How was that bus ride?
So this is the culmination of our training, right? We've been working for several months and turning in between and reading. I'm sure you've read every article assiduously. And there's a few more today, you'll get a couple more pages. But Suzanne was brought to my attention by Father Winker, who really highly recommended her, and I think I've spoken to you before the program.
We met at
about-
Bread Company with another cruise from here maybe, a long time ago, like a year, 9 months, 10
Yeah,
months ago.
before he
Father
he-
Kim?
I won't
No,
remember,
right.
names are just not my
Father,
forte. I'll know your face, but your name will, might escape me.
was another priest, maybe it was from Holy Trinity. Father Blood, Monsignor Blood?
No, I know him.
So I don't know who it was, but anyway.
Another man.
So he spoke highly of Suzanne, so I said, well, I have to see this person, I don't know. Who she, she sounded so experienced and knowledgeable, which she is. But she's also very approachable and wonderful to talk to and a good listener. And she has much experience, so I'm just delighted to have her. I'm going to say her first experience as a wife and a mother, I think, is what really qualifies her, first of all, for presentation and for sharing with us. I've experienced her kindness, her love, her passion for her faith, and for helping others grow. And if you look at her website, she's always emphasizing that a loving relationship is what is most important in life, and what she hopes to help people create and to maintain. And that's exactly what we're about, creating a relationship with the people we visit, but helping them to intensify their relationship with God through loving the children and helping the children. So Suzanne is also, brings a lot of professional certification for us. She's a licensed professional counselor, graduating from Lindenwood. She's given workshops and presentations in our area, but also nationwide, so we're very privileged that you have this time for us. She's been a parent PAT teacher and supervisor, and in Rittner, right? You were in this district and,
Rittner and Ladue, so
and
half of
Ladue.
Ladue, half in Rittner.
so interesting combination of areas. So she brings over 20 years of experience with us, and I think she has a lot of great stories to share. She does. She shared a few things with me about her experiences as PAT teacher, which I hope you don't have, but you never know what you know when you
I
do.
won't share those.
So every visit is a gift. So Suzanne, we're delighted to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Gosh, I don't know if I
being
can,
with us.
I hope I can live up to that. Should I stand? Should I sit?
Whatever you want.
Comfortable with. It's a very informal group here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hand these handouts. I put together a packet, they're very slippery, so I hope they don't slide across the place. There's a handout in there of what I'll talk about, and then there's handouts in there on like activities that we'll do. I'm just gonna need a pen. No, here they are, just in case. So, I don't know, I feel like I should stand, what I should do, but that's not a very, should is a shame word. So,
We try to avoid it at our house.
yes. So, what I love about being brought in here today is that it's pulling both of my, I call it chapter 1, chapter 2 of my career, and I'm talking outside of the home career, not inside the home career, together. So I did spend 9 years in Rittner with parents and teachers. I was a parent educator, and then I did a variety of things, a lot of curriculum development. I created their first preschool program, summer camp. And then I worked my way into being a coordinator. And while being a coordinator, I realized that, while I can do that kind of work, it didn't really suit me. Because I'd be in a meeting with somebody, an administrator, and I'd say, oh, I have to go to work. Because I have an appointment, a home visit with a family. And they'd say, well, this is work. No, this isn't work, this is garbage. Like, I need to get to the real work. And the more I said that out loud, the more I realized I don't really belong there. I really belong down on the floor, working with people in the trenches, yeah. And then my supervisor actually left and went to Ladue, and there was a couple of political things that happened within the school district that encouraged me to go on and follow my supervisor, so I followed her. And that's what I ended up to do. I would have never thought to go to Ladue, but it was perfect because what I realized is that parents struggle no matter who they are or where they are. The parents struggle because kids don't come with a manual. So I have 4, so each one of them are completely different teachers. And so that just kind of solidified that for me as well. And then I went, long story, but I went back to school, got my master's, and now I'm in private practice. And using those skills with parents and teachers, to me, it's beautiful because I do understand the struggles, because I've seen the struggles that people have, and you can't belittle a person's struggle. Like you were saying, some of these people on Meals on Wheels, they might get 1 meal a day, and they have to stretch that out. Well, that's what I witnessed in Rittner. The people were, many of them, not all, but I tended to work in the projects, in the housing complexes, or the apartment complexes, because that's what I liked. They also might have 1 meal a day, and they had to make it spread. And then they would share their food with me, and I did not want to take it, but wanted to take it because I wanted them to feel valued and that they could give to me, right? Like I was giving to them.
Yeah.
So I knew that we had a relationship, right? Fast forward, then I go to Ladue, and they're worried because the nanny doesn't fit on the private jet.
Jeez.
I said, oh, wait a minute, that's judgment. So let's now, that's not something that I experience. Like, I can't even buy 6 airline tickets to get my family somewhere. We have to drive, right? However, that is a struggle for them because that's a struggle that they know, right? And if mom doesn't usually have 24/7 care with her children, that is frightening to be with your in-laws on their plane with your kids that don't necessarily always listen to you because you're going for them. So that is a struggle. It's a struggle. I had to learn to not judge the struggle. So I'm just don't judge what somebody else's struggle is. Don't judge what they don't think their struggle is, because you think, aren't you struggling with it? It is difficult, but it may not be for them. I said, can you repeat it?
There's always a danger when you compare other people to other
Okay.
people. That's when you get into that judgment. What you're going through is more important than theirs, and it's not.
Or that you understand better than
Right.
they understand. And we only know our own perspective. Like how I come to the world is based on my experiences, my knowledge, and then how I learned to apply my knowledge, which is completely different than all of you, only because you're not in my skin. Like none of us, we might have crossed paths, but that doesn't mean that we totally understand each other's life experiences. So one of the things that I think, because I thought long and hard, what would I have wanted to know? Because I started with Parents to Teachers back in 1990, I think. So the training was much more sparse than it probably is today. Not that it was bad, but it was growing. So I wish I would have known more about understanding who I am and what I bring to the table or to the floor with families. So understanding myself better and how people perceive me, I think would have been really helpful, because I just had to learn that along the way. And I'm really introverted, so doing that was difficult for me. It was exhausting. Actually, I would see a couple of people a day and they, oh my gosh, I can't take it, because I would be exhausted trying to give and give in a way that I wasn't necessarily comfortable. So I felt like we'll talk a lot about who you are. If you don't have to tell me who you are, but it's about you. Realizing who you are, and what skills you have, what your strengths are, and how you can utilize those strengths within the program. Knowing your environment, which is also knowing their environment. What does the environment mean to you? And by that, one of the things that popped into my head was this apartment complex that I went into. There was one way in and that same way out, and it was a very it was a dangerous place to live. And I had police tell me, because there were police sitting up in the court, and they asked me who I was, because I didn't fit in, right? I was white, the people that I was seeing were not white. I carried a bag of toys sticking out of it, like I looked like I didn't belong there. And he said, what are you doing? And I told him who I was and what I was doing, and he said, you really need to have a police escort up here. And I said, well, I'm not comfortable with that, because then that means that my people aren't gonna feel like I belong there. Like that's not an option for me. They know where they live, they watch out, and look, see they're right there, they're at the door. So, because they would watch me come and they would watch me go, that was not gonna be an option for me. So I knew my environment, and I have always felt safe, no matter whatever environment I'm in. I don't know why, I guess I just feel like I'm protected. Like you said, people watch out for you because you're the favorite. Well, I think I'm the favorite too. I just don't feel uncomfortable in environments when I go in different places. So know your environment. I think boundaries and respect are critical. I told you the story when people don't have much and they were offering me what the little they had. I had to take it because it was respectful. Like I didn't want to disrespect them and their generosity. That would have totally destroyed our relationship. So know that. What kind of communicator are you? We're going to talk about that. We can't discern what kind of communicator the people are that you're working with, but if you understand what kind of communicator you are and listen to the goofy stories that I tell, you might be able to decide what kind of communicator they are. And I'll give you reasons why I think that's important, to at least be aware of yourself and how you present information. I really feel that if I'm the communicator, and you're the listener, if I see on your face that you're not understanding what I'm saying, I'm gonna check in, because if I'm the speaker, it's my responsibility to say it this way, and then this way, and then this way, and then this way, in order for you to receive it. And so that's gonna be critical for you and your families as well. So, no, you're fine. I'll segue and tell a little story. A couple of nights ago, probably last week, my husband and I were disagreeing. And he's sitting on that part of the couch, and I'm sitting over here, and there's a cushion in between us. Oh, this is on tape. No, I talk about him all the time. He wants to come listen to my talks. I said, no, that'll make me nervous. So he went into, men tend to feel like they don't show up knowing enough, like their fears that they're not good enough. And so he went totally into that mode. Oh, it's always me. I never get it right. That makes me crazy, because that's not at all how I think. So I said, okay, let me try again. And this is literally what I did. This is the extra couch cushion. This is person A. That's me. this is person B, that's you. Person A, blah, blah, blah. Person B, blah, blah. Person A, person B. And I just kept doing that. He calmed down visibly, and then his voice changed, and he said, oh, I totally understand now. Okay. So a couple days later, I was in supervision, and the man who runs the group is a man. And so I asked him, I told the story, and I said, what was that about? And he said, because you took it out of his body, and so that he could just kind of see it. It wasn't something, he was trying to internalize the emotion and the content. Oh, I was pretty brilliant in that. But my whole point in saying that is, I had to communicate differently, because I kept doing the same thing with different words, and it was just not, he wasn't hearing anything I was saying. So, if you're gonna be most of the conversationalist, so you're gonna have to figure out a way for these parents to accept what you're saying. Listening skills report, we'll talk about that. We'll talk a little bit about conflict, which is kind of what you alluded to earlier that you're doing with your job. We're gonna talk a lot about emotional awareness and then a little bit about self-care. Because this is a job where you're really giving a lot. You give a lot before you start, you give a lot while you're there, and then you give a lot when you leave, because you're still pondering, what just happened? What did I say? What did they say? How did it impact? What do I need to do differently? This is a very giving job. And so you have to have some self-care with that. Like, I wish I would have learned that a long time ago. So, any thoughts or questions about that?
I know, from my own experience, like as I'm a case manager, I go in the home and I work with every nationality and ethnic background. I notice, every agency has a policy and stuff. I have a family always welcome me at the dinner time. And it's a sibling of 3 kids. I mean, they beg me, Miss Bina, would you please eat dinner with us? Sometimes I had to say, no, I had to get back. When I leave the door, I hurt their feelings or even hurt my own feelings.
Right.
That's the balance sometimes,
Right.
This job, I know a 2-year-old, 3-year-old is not gonna ask you to eat. They always willing to give you something little.
Right.
How do we not wanna hurt their feelings? And because I'm always like, oh, you know what, keep it for yourself, and then next time I come, show me that you still have it, so we can talk about it, stuff like that. But my thing is when to draw the line.
Right.
When acceptable, when it's not, because, like I said, I don't wanna hurt anybody's feeling, I don't wanna value what they're trying to do for me.
Right.
That's just a problem I have.
So I've done similar to what you've suggested. I also have even taken what they've given me, their little trinket toy, and then I keep it, because we talked about, like, I'm a bag lady, so I have a bag for each, like, I have a bag for this thing, and every time I think of something, I put it in the bag. I have a bag for when I was teaching at Webster, only the Webster stuff was in there. I have a bag for my office, and only the office stuff goes in that bag. So I would put it in my bag, and then just give it back, or say, look, I still have it, it made me think of you, and then they feel really valued, because that's the whole point, people need to feel valued. Because if they don't feel valued, if they don't feel respected by any of us, then there's no relationship, right? There's not gonna be sharing, like you talked about sharing at your circle time. They're not gonna share, they're not gonna feel open, because they're not gonna feel safe with you.
Yeah, if it's something you're doing every week, you can take turns keeping it,
Right.
I'll take it this week and take it.
That's a good idea. Yeah. And if they consistently want you to eat, maybe you can say in the future, let's plan it at a time that I can have enough time to do that, because my schedule is so tight. Blame it on your schedule.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so let's do an activity. I don't think we do it individually, but let's just do it together. Because this will help me. Would you say who you are and kind of what you do or what brought you here? And then, this is going to be the uncomfortable part, possibly, it would be for me. Say something that is amazing about yourself. So, like, I'm Suzanne Coffey, I am a therapist. I no longer can say that I'm an adjunct professor. I did put it on there, but I took a sabbatical. I used to say that when I go out with people, because I would use that as my profession and a therapist. Because when I said therapist, people would stop talking to me. So I'd say I'm a adjunct professor at Webster, and then they thought I was really smart. When my kids found out that I was a professor, they're like, you? So, what am I? Jack of all trades. I feel like I'm a very good listener. I think I'm an amazing listener. You ready?
I sell real estate. Oh, Terry Gannon. I sell real estate, and I'm really good at what I do. But here's the amazing thing. And some of you may know this, and some of you may not. I have been fighting cancer for 10 years without any treatment.
Oh my gosh.
And I kind of take it back, 5 years ago, I participated in a trial that kind of set it back a little bit, but then I don't know if any of you know me from church, my neck got really big and I knew it was time to go in. So I have been participating in a trial that is working. It is cutting edge immunotherapy,
Love it.
the future of cancer treatments for everybody. And it's working, and I have 2 more treatments, and then I should be cured for the rest of my life.
Oh,
Yes!
Congratulations.
So, you know, I was thinking, oh, there's nothing amazing about me. And really, because it's not me, it's the doctors, but it just happens to be in my
Look at you and your prayerfulness and your.
Well, and I tell you what, and prayers that everybody has been praying for me, because when my friends found out I wasn't going to take treatment, they were like, we should start praying for her. So, I'm still alive, 5 years past my life expectancy, and
Nice.
science finally caught up with me.
Nice.
Yay. So there,
We're blessed.
I am.
I can't top that one. My name is Beth Kutzler. I work at Holy Trinity. I work in preschool, as well as working with the Save Foundation, which got me onto the grant board for this project. Amazing thing. I do like to juggle lots of things. So
I understand that.
You're a juggler.
spinning the plate thing is how I imagine it in my mind.
Yay.
I am Meg Nays. I am participating in this because Sister Maureen caught me in the year of yes, coming off of the year of no. Where I said no to everybody for everything, and this year I said, okay, I had my break, it's time for a year of yes, and so I said yes.
Hey.
Perfect
But
timing.
this did pique my interest because I have, well, I have a daughter in 3rd grade and a son who's 4. And so this interested me in seeing how I could be a better parent in increasing the faith in my children. And then hopefully sharing that. Also, I guess maybe my strength that I hope I can bring to this, not being an educator or having anything to do with any of this ever before in my life, is really just I hope I can connect with some other parents and let them know they're doing an okay job. And we'd love to see them at church sometime. And I will be happy to be their friend when they show up.
That's sweet. You're a giver.
Trying.
Yes.
Year of yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm Sister Maureen. You know that I am working here now for the, this program is a real wonderful ministry. I was excited when I heard about it, and I just felt like it was something that would bring together a lot of my past experience and my own gifts. And I think it has done that and enriched me with all of you in my life, which is wonderful. I guess what surprises me about my life is that I've been able to working for our community, travel a lot, meet sisters all over the world, and just be enriched by so many different cultures that I never expected I would be able to do. So that's been a great blessing in my life.
Whew. My name is Shirley Small, and retired postal employee, 42 years. I've been working at Curves for women now for 7 years. I'm kind of an introvert. I listen, but I'm a people person, and it's bringing, well, actually the post office did that, brought me out. But so I think my best quality is that I do listen, and I'm a people person.
Nice. Good qualities.
Well, I'm Elena Romero. I am originally from Panama. I am a former parent educator. And let's see, something that is amazing about me will be that somebody who was very shy, introverted, and coming to a country with a new language, new culture, and not only the country but the family that I'm supposed to be part of. So in other words, I'm very adaptable person to whatever environment I have. And I'm a listener, I'm a giver, and I'm an instrument of God.
That is amazing.
Can't top that, but, my name is Bina Bryant. The reason I came to this because I have like experience working in foster care with family. I'm a case manager, so I always, even right now, my thing I like good about me is that I am a believer in people. I believe in people, especially the job I do, because all the clients I deal with, the school, parent, court, everything, To me, coming to this, want to do this, I'm a big believer in God, I go to church, and I would like to give that foundation to younger kids so they can grow in God's faith and walk with God. And, with a lot of experience, a lot of training, I thought it was a good opportunity. And again, I'm a people person, I'm caring, I like to give them an opportunity to let me know what they want me to know instead of me wanting to know what they should be, so.
So you're connecting all the chapters of your life too?
Yeah.
Very generous.
I'm Renee Novak. I am wife of a very wonderful husband. I'm a mother of two. I'm the event coordinator for the vocation office for the Archdiocese. That's my other job. What's amazing about me is that God loves me in the midst of all my mess. That He created me beautifully and wonderfully, which is amazing. But what other people, I guess, would say about me is that I'm thoughtful.
And creative.
Yeah.
Nice. So when I said what I wanted you to do, my observation, when I say this to a group of women, it's like they all like, oh, maybe I have to go to the bathroom. Like they just kind of squirm, like many women don't want to say what's amazing about themselves. They struggle finding something. But I don't know if it's that they find it difficult to find something, but they might find it difficult to share that piece and put it out there. I think women are we're taught to be more humble and just do those great works, but not to like talk about those great works. But if you don't talk about them and because women problem solve by talking, if we don't put it out there, then how real is it? And so what was it like for any of you sharing it and putting it out there? Nerve-wracking?
Just didn't know exactly, you want to portray yourself, who you are really, real person is. You don't want to portray like, oh.
You do, not everybody does. I don't know about you do, but not everybody does, I should say it that way.